welcome back to Rich Girl Roundup. As a reminder, we will take listener questions every month on Instagram. Follow Money with Katie, and then we'll pick one that feels interesting and widely applicable, and we will answer it. As my standard CYA language, I am not a licensed financial professional. This is not financial advice. This is just my attempt at giving you a framework for thinking through these types of problems or questions. Here is this week's question from Nina.
Hi Katie, this is Nina calling into Rich Girl Nation from good old Kentucky. Go Pandas, whoop whoop. My question is for someone who won't start making money until later in life, in their 30s, how do we catch up? I'm in medical school and I often feel like I'm very behind because I make $0. So I'm wondering what that would look like for someone who starts making money later in life. How do we invest? How do we plan for early retirement? How do we set up our financial success? I'm really excited to hear your answer, and I'm really proud of everything that you've accomplished with Money with Katie so far. I've been there since day one, so go UKG.
This is a great question, Nina, and fun fact, Nina and I went to high school together, and she has been planning on being a doctor since we were 16. We used to study for physics together at Starbucks every day after school, so good times. I am very thrilled to know that she's actually doing it. While I'm going to run with the doctor example today, since that's specifically what you asked about, note that this same framework for modeling an outcome can be applied to anyone who's in school for a long time before making their salary. Lawyers, vets, PhDs, you name it. So in order to answer this question, I wanted to tap my trusty financial independence planner. For the uninitiated, this is a simple spreadsheet that I built that effectively takes a few inputs: your salary, your spending, your invested assets, and a couple other things into account to determine how your financial independence timeline is impacted by your decisions. With respect to becoming a doctor, Nina, I figured it would be helpful to bake in the assumptions that you're describing. The first is debt. So according to Forbes Advisor, the average student graduates from a public medical school with $194,000 in debt as of 2021. I will resist the urge to rag on every aspect of our untenable healthcare system right now, but yes, if you want to be a doctor, prepare to take on 6 figures of debt in order to do so. The second thing she mentioned, late starters. It takes about 10 years to become a fully licensed doctor, and longer if you have a specialty. That's 10 years after you graduate from college, I believe. So for all intents and purposes, we can pretend that we've got a 10-year delay beyond your average student who goes straight into the workforce after attending college. Salary-wise, when you do become a fully licensed doctor, your income skyrockets pretty much overnight. According to the Medscape Physician Compensation Report's 2020 analysis, the average primary care physician salary in the United States is $243,000, while the average specialist salary is $346,000. The median looked to be over $300,000 though, depending on what type of doctor you are. So if you assume the person with $194,000 of debt is on a 10-year payoff plan and has a 5% interest rate, that puts their monthly payment around $2,100 a month for 10 years. Now, that sounds like a ton, but remember, their income is anywhere from, according to this Medscape Physician Compensation Report, $230K to $511K per year on average. If we shoot for the low end and assume they'll be getting $240,000 in their first few years as a fully licensed practitioner, that makes their take-home pay after federal and FICA taxes a little over $13,000 per month, making their loan payback account for about 16% of their take-home pay for the 10 years that they are paying it off, and then falling off entirely. Now, in order to go any further, we do have to make some assumptions about their other costs, both inclusive of things like medical malpractice insurance and otherwise. But let's assume this person is single and paying the less forgiving single filing taxes. And let's say that they're spending $6,000 per month on their other expenses, plus the $2,000 on their debt. So that's $8,000 going out per month. That still gives us about $5,000 left over after taxes per month to save, or about $60,000 per year. If we assume they begin at a salary of $240K and they get a 4% pay increase every year, that they increase their spending by 3% every year, to account for the average inflation, and that they do pay off the debt in 10 years with that $2,100 a month amount, this individual, this doctor, is still set to reach financial independence after just 15 years of working with a net worth of $3 million, putting them at work optional status at age 47 if they officially began making doctor money at age 32. Obviously, we assumed a lot of variables here, too many to count in order to flesh out this example, but using the averages, we were able to assess that a doctor really isn't actually far behind thanks to their great incomes that kick in their early 30s. So like I said, if you are in a similar boat where you're going to be in school for a while or you are delaying your earning years, you can kind of run through this same type of exercise to figure it out. I hope this helps. Fortunately, so much of this can be calculated and projected. If you hit the ground running, you will still likely find yourself in a pretty great spot, though I'll leave up to you whether or not you want to leave the workforce so soon after studying for 14 years to learn how to do your job. My guess is probably not, but hey, you could always plug away at that $3 million and then stop saving entirely at age 47 and then just live large on that doctor salary. And by age 65, your $3 million will have compounded to $10 million on its own if you assume an average return of 7%, which is not too shabby, right, Nina?